You feeling any better, Leslie? Can she hear me?
Oh, sorry. Yes. No, I'm feeling much better. Thank you. I didn't know I was on the thing. I didn't know you could see me.
That's good.
I'm surprised there's not more of us on. I meant to text and email everybody and say, hey, this is pretty important. We ought to get on this.
Yeah, I thought more people would be on too.
Well, I guess we
I think most of you saw my note last night, and I counted, maybe we all know this, but I counted the membership in Steve's little subgroup. I mean, 72 people.
Right.
I know.
Got a lot of people.
I know.
Well, I think we have a quorum to vote how we want it.
Good thing.
Well, I can't really see that it changed anything for any group except Steve G's. We can still
Right.
call in and we can still put our groups together and just reserve a court. Other than Thursday morning, I don't know how many courts they're taking for Thursday morning.
Do you think we can sign up just like we did in Steve's group without a partner, or you have to sign up with a partner on that Thursday? I don't know.
Well, I would guess that you just go in and reserve your court with your, back when we can, when we can do doubles again with 4 people, at least they haven't blocked out that time slot. So.
But what's the point of the club organizing you, and you have to make up your own 4? Surely they're doing it because the club will then make 4s up like Steve used to do.
I don't think it doesn't look like they're doing that based on their chart. It looks like Thursdays are the only mornings from 8:30 to 10:30. Looks like they're doing ladders, and then you just work your way into a ladder. But they go afternoon and evening times.
To me, that's just not a replacement to what Steve G is doing in the least. I don't know if there'll be a shortage of courts, or we'll have to find out what the issues are, but to me, it hasn't replaced Steve at all. I mean, Thursday morning is the only conflict.
Correct.
Except if that's the start, maybe they're going to do other mornings, but they don't want to do them all at once yet.
But Steve said he will have to have a much smaller group now. Because he cannot.
It's a tough start for Anna Lori. Yeah, for sure. Okay. I think we could get it going. All right. Good. Okay. I was just talking to John here, and made me think of the first point. John and I were talking about some stuff here at the club, and he said something about, it's good to say good things and have, and also, we got to complain about some things or whatever. And I said, look, anytime members are voicing their opinion, whether it be positive or negative, to me is always a good thing, because I would much rather someone tell me, hey, Chris, I don't think what you're doing here is right. And then we can discuss it or change it or whatever, opposed to someone being unhappy and not sharing their opinion with me, and then they're just upset with me or the club, and we don't actually know. So this is all a very good thing, and I appreciate you guys jumping on here. That means you guys care about the club, and of course we care about the club. So I do want to just open it up and get all of your questions in, whether it be you guys talking or through the chat. Lori's going to be checking the chat. I do want to maybe go over a couple points here, just kind of kick it off, and maybe that'll answer some of the questions and kind of give you an idea of where we're coming from in the first place. And to kind of start off, I kind of heard some of you guys chatting, we have made no changes to anybody's ability to organize groups and do the same thing that they always have done. In particular, Steve G. He's more than welcome to do the same programming that he's done all of this time, and nothing has changed in that regard except for the courts. There are 4 other groups like yourselves, so it is other groups as well that we're dissolving the ability to have pre-reserved courts. but the idea that someone can't organize groups and set up things, by all means, we encourage that. And not only is it welcomed, it's very thanked. When I talk to Steve and when I talk to the other members here that do the same thing that Steve does with other groups, there's Steve Hamburger, there's the Dotzers in the evening, there's Kim Tavasoli with another group, there's Shane Marshak and Bill Fried with another evening group. So this is something that a couple people have been doing for many years. Steve G's obviously been kind of the big mainstay one here and has done a wonderful thing. And I've always, started off with him, always thanking him and appreciating him. So kind of the main 3 points I want to kind of get through. Yeah, Sam. The main 3 points that I want to get to, and then we'll open it up, is 1, how we came to making any changes. 2, what those changes may entail. And 3, anything that regards Steve G and my appreciation for what he does, and how that goes down. So the first thing is that the club, there's a lot of facets to it, but basically the club, especially in regards to tennis, you're talking about Ann, Lori, and myself. So there's the 3 of us. So anytime you speak of the club doing this or the club doing this or whatever, you're basically talking about the 3 of us and the decisions that we make. And our jobs basically, first of all, depend on membership being here, membership dues, membership being here. So financially, our jobs are wrapped into member satisfaction. Second, we've been here for many years. I've been here forever. Maybe I'm closer to some and not as close to others, but I've been connected with all of you. And Lori talked, we all talk and see each other a lot. So we care a lot. And sometimes, it might behoove us to be able to remove that personal feeling, but for us to be good at our jobs, we have to be that way. And also, I think the reason why a lot of you do feel good when you come here, or you feel like our staff treats you a certain way or whatever, is because the overall love and care that Ann, Lori, and I put into every decision here. So just know that any decisions that we are doing, it is filtered through that. Like, we want to make members happy because we need to financially, and we care about you guys. So that is like so we would never want to hurt anybody, Second, what this kind of decision is, or how we even had to come up with any change for that matter. So because we care about the members, and both the members that come and just reserve courts on their own to play, and the ones that are a part of these groups. Again, there are 5 main groups that have been operating in this style that that you guys have been doing. Across the board, the groups have been having trouble getting the amount of courts that they want, and the members coming in to reserve courts have been having troubles getting courts. And across the board, it kind of leaves a bad feeling through all the members that we're slighting them. How come this group gets this courts and this group doesn't get these courts? And how come I can't get a court? And so overall, we tend to be disappointing people a lot, and it has not been working out that great. The second thing about that is that because these groups have happened, that means you guys love having these organized situations set up for you. And we wanted to help with that situation and help that programming. So Ann saw this and said, hey, Chris, can you come up with some programming to help do what these guys have been doing? And I said, absolutely, let's do that. Because what if Steve G can't do it anymore, or what if one of these other guys can't do it anymore? So we want to be able to, as a club, do this. We have hired on Debbie, you guys know Debbie Hare, to help with this. So we are, incurring costs to do this, and we are going to offer it for free. So we wanted to do a member service to help give you guys more tennis and also not impact anything that you guys are currently doing. And all the different groups know that we are there for them. And if they want to still do their groups, by all means, they can do it. Just unfortunately, now everyone has to reserve the courts at the same time. And then lastly, I was not, as you guys could have saw on Steve G's reply, my original email, my original setup was to do, the only morning one was to do it at 10:30, to not even impact the early courts at all. Through my conversation with Steve, he was saying that he doesn't necessarily want to be doing this anymore. He would like to step away. Chris, if you want to do this Monday through Friday at 8:30, please do it. Like, please organize these groups for me. You know, it is hard work, and it is hard for him, and it's hard for the other people. That's why we have supported them all through these years. There is a deep appreciation for the work that they have to do. For, you know, it's a lot of work to organize that, which is why we've hired on someone to help us with this organization. So after my conversation with Steve, where he was saying that he didn't particularly want to do this anymore, I said, well, do you want to do a morning one? He said, yeah. He's like, you do any mornings? I said, okay, well, maybe we'll try a Thursday one and see how it goes. So through this process, again, caring mostly about your guys' tennis and all of our members, because we care, we love, and it's our jobs. It's a combination of all of those. I was not planning to impact the morning tennis in the slightest, except for the fact that you guys would have to reserve your own courts. I think wait, there was one other, nope, I think I got all my points there. And please fire away with any questions. I don't know if is there any in the chat or no? Okay, so it'll all be like live. So hopefully we can talk this out, because we are a family here, and we appreciate you guys, of course. And yes, please, any questions? We got one live person here. What you got, John?
John Verity.
Yes, John Verity is in the house.
And love what Steve G's done.
Yes.
We can't hear him.
Okay, so he's saying well, let's take it over to John for a second.
Oh my God, I have to be on camera?
I know. Well, people want to hear what you have to say.
I don't have my mask, but I'm outside. Love what Steve G has done. Big a fan of his, done a fantastic job. I like the comments that Rich Wheeler made, a couple alternatives. Perhaps, Chris, you could comment on the feasibility of that. And
Was
on the other side,
that through email or
I
on
think he
person?
did on the email chain. He said maybe we could do it.
I'm actually not on the email chain. I just got forwarded the ones that Steve sent me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if Rich.
Well, Chris, I can talk about that.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you want to?
The other thing I would say is what I love about it is the ability to reserve in advance. Steve sometimes designated one of the foursome to call in. That worked. I'm fine with that. And hopefully we can meet some kind of a compromise, keep it going, because I certainly love the fact of being able to sign up a week in advance and pick a couple days at 8:30, 8 o'clock, 7:30. I don't care. Early is fine. That's all I got to say.
Totally. And it is a super nice, beautiful program that Steve G does. And, we want to, yeah, that sounds great. So yeah, what was the email that I missed there?
Well, I first of all, I mentioned there's 72 people in the group. That's a lot of people that have been really happy with the program. And you're the group, I guess I didn't say this in the email, but the group that Debbie's going to be running doesn't replace this group. I mean, it's different levels. It's only a few days. It's an evening. It's one morning. It seems like, I don't know what forces, again, I'm expanding on this now. I didn't say this in the email, but I don't know what forces are operating. Well, I guess I do now because of your comments, Chris, that other groups are unhappy that they don't have enough time, that they're not getting all the courts they need. But my point, and I guess the point that's been made about my email was that it looked to me like the only conflict now is Thursday. I mean, we'll give up Thursday for Debbie's group.
Well, we don't even have to do we don't even have to do the Thursday. I only added it because of my conversation with Steve.
I see.
You know, as you could.
Well, that's a good point. Maybe Steve needs to address the group, and because this is news to me. From time to time we understand he's getting a little bit burned out. But Steve, are you on audio? What do you think? Are you happy to give this up, or do you want to keep doing it? Can't hear Steve.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now.
No, I have no problem doing it. I just having a reserve court makes it easier for us. That there are days we need 5 and 6 courts, and we may not get them all.
It's a nice service. It's a nice service. Also, we've all had to reserve the courts, and some of us are early risers, I guess, and we don't care. I'm not so much of an early riser, but it's kind of a hassle to get up at 7 o'clock, try to jump on, in advance of 7 o'clock, jump on, get the court. I mean, maybe that's small potato comment, but when Steve can get these courts, it's pretty nice.
No, for sure. It is. Yeah, no, it is definitely a really nice service, which is why, just so you know, so it is a really, really nice service in which when the corporation took this over years ago, they wanted us to remove it. They've told us that this is something that none of the other clubs do, and they really would rather us not do this. And we maintained it through all these years because it is such a nice service. And any discussions that I had previously with John was, hey, John, like Steve G is doing this amazing thing for us. Let's assist him as much as we possibly can because it is a great member service. So that's where that continued to go throughout the years of my tenure being here, was that because we appreciated it and it was so nice. And we now have several of those groups, and we have several people that cannot be a part of some of these groups.
Rich, you mentioned this. You mentioned there's 4 or 5 other groups. You're implying that they're in conflict with us, but how many morning groups are there? I'm aware I'm part of that Tuesday, Thursday group. I don't really play.
Steve Hamburger has a group, and then there's just a lot of members that want to play in the morning too, that aren't either they want to do their own thing, or they're not allowed to be in those groups. You know what I mean? And we care about those members just as much as we care about you guys. We care about all the members equally. And that's kind of part of the thing is, up until now, it's like we have to make decisions about like, who do we care more about or something, and it's like, that's just, we can't make that decision. We care about all the members, whether they're good, bad, terrible, great, doesn't matter. Yes, Carol.
This
Hi,
just
Carol.
makes it more fair for all the groups, and the thing is, I used to be in Steve G's group and I appreciated it. And then he peeled off like 25 of us or something. And so now we're stuck reserving our courts. That's fine. And we're now in other groups and we're making that happen. I just have a question about Thursday. Are you taking all the courts and booking those, or are you just taking a couple courts? Can our other groups still reserve on Thursdays?
Right. And based on this, maybe we won't even start the Thursday. This is all member service, right? So it doesn't, I have no agenda other than making members happy. So if this group sort of like, it sounds like, oh, this is something interested that we want to try out, then we will do it. And if most people are like, let's just leave our groups the same, maybe we'll try the Monday one at 10:30. That doesn't impact us or something. Or we won't try it at all. That's fine as well. How many courts would we take? We would take the amount that services the members. If if, you know, 3 sounds like about a number, but we want to make it as good for members as possible. So there's no set number with any of the ones. And I get it. You guys are just talking about the morning ones, but we as a organization have to look at how it's also impacting our evening groups and our afternoon groups. And so a lot of these decisions are across the board. And that is also part of it too. We can't have some rules here and some rules there and everything. We have to kind of like make decisions. So, yeah, I mean, we can even, again, this isn't supposed to start until January 1st, and which is why we're talking about it now, so we can make adjustments going into it. And then even after we roll it out January 1st, you know, we check back in on February 1st and say, okay, that was good or that was bad. So as far as like member feedback and what members want and don't want, yeah, I want to hear that. And I want to know, okay, this is something we want to do. This is something we don't want to do. The only thing that we have to make the decision on is the not reserving the courts in advance. That's the only thing that we have to kind of move forward with, you know. But as far as like what programming and when we do it and how we do it, always up for discussion, and I always want your guys' input. Yes, John.
2 questions.
Yes.
What would Debbie Hare do compared to what Steve G does?
Uh-huh.
Number 1, and number 2, as I said, if the leader, Steve or Debbie,
yeah.
says, I've got 4 people that are compatible.
Mm-hmm.
John Verity, you make the reservation.
Yeah.
I like that. I'll do it.
Right.
Is that something that
so
Debbie be doing that? Like Steve G?
So he's kind of wondering what is the role of the ladder essentially? What is the club's role? Debbie is going to be doing it for us, but essentially it's the club doing it, right? You know, it's like what are we going to be providing that's same different than what Steve G was providing essentially. And the only reason why it is a ladder format is because I have found over the years, I've been now tennis directing for 15 years, juniors, adults, doesn't matter what it is. The two main things that you want to worry about when you're programming is making sure that the tennis is good and that you can place people where they should be. And anytime you're in a situation where you're just kind of placing people based off of your opinion, you're constantly offending people. You know, you think on this level, I should be this level, blah, 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 whatever. I've done ladders for adult groups. I do it for the kids groups. It would be all the time like, hey, why is my kid on the 3rd court? My kid should be on the 1st court. And so for me, the easiest thing to do is to keep score. Then when you're keeping score and you're going based off of a ladder of, okay, these are the top 4 players here today. They go on court 1. These are the next 4. They go on this court. Then it becomes really easy and nobody's really offended. And if you're on the 3rd court or the 4th court and you want to be on the 2nd court, then you win. You know, it's kind of a simple thing. And just a little history on this particular ladder. I used to be the tennis director at Pacific Tennis Club, and I used to run this ladder in the evening. It was guys and women, but particularly mostly guys, high-level guys, and it was quite successful. And a member, maybe you know him, maybe you don't, his name is Shane Marshak and Bill Freed. They're connected with a lot of the 4045 guys. They were kind of doing their group thing, just like Steve G is doing his group thing on Tuesday nights and Thursday nights. And, you know, we talked to Shane, and Shane was like, hey, can we do that ladder thing that you used to do at Pacific? And I'm like, sure. So about 3 or 4 months ago, we started implementing, we'd been doing this ladder in place of his normal group play. It has been wildly successful. It's been great. People love it. And I love it just because it can be any level, any gender. It doesn't matter. You're going to come and you're going to get good tennis. You're going to be on a court with 3 other people that are close to your level, and it's going to be enjoyable, and it's all run by us. So you don't have to even do anything. So John, you can sign up, say, and with our software now, it's easy. You just go on, you go, hey, I want to play Tuesday at this time, I want to play in this ladder. Boom, done. Now you're on the list, right? Then Debbie, or let's say Debbie doesn't work anymore, whoever, the club, we go on and we go, oh, okay, John, and then these three people are closest to him on the ladder. You guys are playing on court 2. You go play, and 95% of the time, you're going to be playing people that are around the same level. So it takes away the whole, like, politics of, like, I don't want to play with this person. I want to play with this person. Are these people my level? Why did you put me on this court? You know, it takes away, kind of dissolves all of that, you know? Now, as far as, like, how the ladders run, again, I've been doing it for 15 years. So I have certain math that makes it work out where the same level players tend to play with each other, but there's also some flexibility where people on the bottom feel like they can move up. So it's kind of, it's not too crazy and it's not too stagnant. So it's not something I just came up with this morning. Like I've been working on this for many years. But does that mean that I don't want feedback and like, hey, but what if we did it like this? So like, okay. And maybe we'll do a ladder that's a different format or something. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's no lack of flexibility there. This is just how I've done it in the past and have had success with it and have made it happen. That's why, that's where I came up with this system.
Chris,
Yeah.
if Steve opts out, then you're saying Debbie would then run a ladder like this?
If Steve says, hey, I'm done, I'm done with this, and you guys are like, and no one wants to take Steve's spot of organizing your groups, then and there's a space. We're here to serve the members. So if it makes sense for us to do one 8:30 to 10:30 on one day, on all of the days, whatever the members want, we're doing it for you guys. And so Steve doesn't have to do it. Oh crap, my thing's meeting. So as far as like, if Steve opts out, and I say, hey, we want this thing.
Well, if Steve opts out, then and we say we want Debbie to continue that program, then we would do the same thing with Debbie. We'd send our emails to her and she would organize all the matches.
What we would do this ladder format, or
well, then you'd go to a ladder format.
Well, yeah. To me, it's the best way to organize the groups.
Why is most of it in the evening though? I don't really play in the evenings, so.
I didn't want to displace any of the member morning stuff. We did the Monday one at 10:30. I didn't want to impact Steve G's group in particular at 8:30, 9 o'clock. If there's a desire for it, or if we want more than 10:30, we can do this 24/7. We will do it whenever the people want. So Leslie, please let me know what days and times sound good to you, and we'll kind of put that out there to people, and we'll see if we can get some groups together. So the idea is to put it where people want, but also not impact the current situation as much as possible.
Chris, let me ask you a question. Based on a ladder, if we play now for an hour and a half for 4 people, and we play 3 sets, would we be able to do that in an hour and a half?
It'll actually be 2 hours. And it is a format where it's a total of 8 games and it's no ad scoring. And again, doing this for many years, when you do a total of 8 games, no ad scoring, so that's 3 times, so 24 games of no ad scoring, that equals roughly under 2 hours. So maybe in the mornings there's more flexibility because we don't have to necessarily end at certain times a lot of times, but definitely like in the afternoon, evenings where we need to finish at a certain time, but they are 2-hour blocks, not an hour and a half. Lori, you got a question? Okay, and by the way, my Zoom is ending in 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Sorry.
Okay, so then, so I'll quickly go. So we received a comment from Mark Nell, who says, I dig it. Thank you very much. And then from Robert, we have a question. Will this eliminate leagues?
Okay, it will not eliminate leagues. Leagues are kind of its own separate thing. The differences between like a league and a ladder is the ladder, it's a weekly sign up. So, you know, you're not committing to anything. It's free. You can go on and go, oh, I want to play this next Thursday on the ladder. You click your name and you're in. The league, you have a partner, you're playing 10 weeks or 8 weeks or 9 weeks, and you're playing these different teams. So it's a totally different kind of setup. So we are still going to do the leagues. We have the evening leagues, and then plus when USTA comes back, plus you have the Metros and Caneos, and we'll still have leagues up the wazoo. And then, but the ladders are more of a week to week situation. Real quick, Mickey, did I answer all your
Yeah.
questions? Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's. I've got 6 minutes and 15 seconds till.
Chris.
Yes.
I just want to say a couple of things. I'm not sure it's going to advance the conversation or not. I understand the ladder. All you have to say is, you know, Bill Parcells is famous for saying you are what your record says you are. I understand that and how that helps you. But what's the opposite side of that coin is the way Steve massages this group. You know, Linda plays with Susan Wise pretty much every time, and they're going to play a lot anyway because they're similar rating. But there's, you know, and he does get these people that say, please don't play me with so and so, you know, the poor Steve. And I know you don't want any of that, but that's the other side of the coin, though. He has got this thing massaged pretty nicely. We're all pretty happy every time. We can't replace it. It sounds like you are not moving on us getting the automatic times. It doesn't work for the club. Maybe you should just say that.
Yeah, we're not doing the automatic times, but that doesn't mean Steve G can't designate one person to call in and get their time. You know,
right.
like
So the decision we have is, do we want to push to have Steve continue if Steve would, or do we embrace the ladder more or enlarge the ladder? And I don't know if that's resolved today yet.
Right, and I don't think it'll be resolved over the next however many months. We're gonna play with it. You know, this is a thing that we want to keep the communication open on. You know. But that's again why I didn't come in and say, hey, we're doing this at 8:30 on these days during the week, because I know you guys like what you're doing. So we just had to do the member thing. I got it. Real quick, got a question here. As far as like the 3-5, as far as he asked the question, the men's 3-5 restricted to Monday 5 to 7. Again, nothing set in stone. And then also, to me, honestly, I eventually like the ladders to be genderless and levelless because it all works itself out anyways. I only put some of the levels and genders on there to kind of give like a base of what current group has been playing at that time, and to kind of get more people like that level to start so it kind of works out well. But at the end of the day, I've always been someone like, I don't care if they're a kid, a senior, woman, whatever it is. Like, I don't like to do those things. Like, you want to play, come play. And obviously the lower players will end up playing on the lower courts and the higher players end up playing on the higher courts. And that's always been my style. That's how I am. I don't like excluding anybody based on anything. And with the ladder system, or Steve G's manipulation, whatever you want, however you want to do it, you're able to get higher level players here and lower players here and not have to deal with that quite as much.
Chris, who reserves the courts?
For the ladder?
Well, if you change the program where we no longer have 3 courts, who reserves the courts for the matches?
For Steve G's group?
Well, if Steve opts out, who
well, if we do a ladder, it's a program. It'll be set in the system so people can reserve their spots on there. So there will be courts there. Which then again,
you don't have to reserve the courts?
You don't have to. The courts will be reserved if you join a ladder.
If you're in a ladder, do you have to play with the same person every time then?
You won't. It's a rotating partner situation. So you're put on a court with 3 other players, and then you take turns. You play one set with each player, and so that could be different each time. Obviously, there's going to be some. Usually, what ends up happening is you end up having 1 or 2 of the same person and 1 or 2 new people because your score is around the same and your level is around the same.
So, as as I understand it, Chris, Steve G used to rate us. He puts us together competitive.
Yeah.
With this system, he'll formalize it somehow. We're going to get some kind of rating, maybe by you independently, and then the 4-0s will play together, the 3-5s will play together.
Your score, your score is your score, you know?
But over the next few weeks, does that mean each of us should come out with you and hit the ball and get a rating?
No, when I know most of everyone's level, and
Oh,
two, you know, hopefully Steve and the other people that organize their groups, it's going to be some massaging in the beginning, like, hey, this is what we have signed up. What do you guys think we should do? And let's do that. And then after 2 months, it's done. You know what I mean? Then it's like, it kind of runs itself.
So ultimately, will we each know that we're
It's not even a level. It'll be like you're out of 24 points, your average is 12.5. And then you go out and play and you get a 15 and now your average is 13.2 or whatever, you know? Oh shoot, I'm down to less than a minute left. Sorry, anybody final saying questions? Dang it, I'm sorry this is ending. That's not good. Upgrade.
You can restart it. You can restart it and everybody signs back in.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll do that. I knew I shouldn't have gotten rid of my paid membership. Well, when we were down in the I'm already out.
Okay, Chris, what are we gonna do? So are we gonna just have them sign in again with the same meeting number?
If you can, I'm down to 2% too. I'm gonna have to switch to my phone. Okay, yes, let's do that.
You should be able to go back to the link.
Okay.
Go back to your email and just click on it and you'll go back in, I think.
Yeah,
That's
set
what
it up with
happens
the
with
same
other
meeting
groups.
ID.